you could be looking at, homie. It's true, between me and you, it's only $5 and watch what they do. Let's get high, lose track of time. Come on, man, you know I'm a damn good time. Yo, if they're gonna post it, no clothing. Oh my god, so exposed and everything. You might as well see everything. Every inch, never leave or grow in need. Wait, maybe you should DM, be friends, pretend a boyfriend, the deep end. She needs men, she needs you and your twos. Get out of my head, get out of my mind. I need to focus, I'm wasting my time. You make me feel hopeless, I'm wasting my prime. Fuck it, I'm going to war with my mind. I'm in control, my body and soul. Never again will you ever take hold. I've got a purpose outside of this hole, and I'll turn this feeling into something more. I could change, rearrange my brain. Thoughts and energy push through pain. Loneliness is a passing phase. A better life, it starts today. Once hopeless and broken, I'm in motion. Just gotta stay focused. Keep moving, keep growing. Never look back, got a new path chosen.
When we are weak, when we are broken, often we're left open in darkness. It's all of our flaws that keep us hopeless. Numb our minds and choke us. I'm in control. I'm taking off. I'm climbing out this hole. I'm finding my soul. In my control.
Hey, Lisa. Okay, so we are going to only do one video for tonight's watch along. It's going to be short. I've been at work all day. I am very tired, and that is not a good camera angle. So, here we go. This is recommended by Ordinary Catholic or Ruined Catholic or however she's doing her name right now. And so let's try it out.
Efficiently whitewashed in a time where fact-checking is theoretically...
Oh, mono is not going to work for me.
How can we be sure of all of our grand narratives and myths? The horrific tragedy of Charlie Kirk's assassination dominated the news media in mid-September, as if the crumbling American society needed another event to pour fuel on the flames of anxiety and division. Some poor, wretched soul took it upon himself to carry out the heinous crime of murdering a highly influential conservative speaker, founder of Turning Point USA, but most importantly, a loving husband and father.
I don't think the most important part is that he's a loving husband and father. I disagree with that framing. That's okay. Emotional pull is fine.
Kirk had risen to prominence in the last decade, being an outspoken advocate of right-wing politics
Yeah, hold
and
on.
evangelical Christianity.
That's actually his channel that's doing that, but let me...
His work doesn't really require any summary from a nobody like me, but the fallout after his brutal demise could use some parsing. To be honest, I've sat on this script for the last few weeks. It was tempting to pontificate on the insanity of the aftermath, but I felt that I needed time to let my
How's the
thoughts
sound?
percolate.
Is that better?
First and foremost, this sort of violence is the absolute abyss of immorality and should be
Sweeping generalization. If I agree with it.
unequivocally condemned. Politics aside,
Okay, midnight podcast or whatever you're called. You really got to work on your volume. Number one, you got to be louder.
Charlie Kirk was a human being, and his
You
life was
got to
sacred,
drop the
of
mono.
infinite value.
You got to drop the mono audio. Dual or stereo, please.
The perpetrator has taken away a husband from an innocent wife, a
Again, that's emotional appeal.
father away from 2 young children, a son away from parents, and a friend away from the many who grieve him.
You said about almost any victim.
The whole thing is just unfathomably horrifying. May justice be served swiftly. And anyone, absolutely anyone, celebrating the death of a fellow human being should be shunned and publicly
Okay. Again, not true. So, while yes, as a Christian, we should not be celebrating the death of another human, to say that humans on their own, non-Christian, should be shunned because they are celebrating the death of someone they view as an enemy. I mean, the death of Pol Pot, I doubt people would be sad about. Or just go a few years ago with Saddam Hussein, or what was that guy? The one from, it was just a few years ago. He was hiding under a bunker and they caught him and they.
devour. This kind of hateful behavior has no place among the civilized. Anathema.
So hate does have a place among the civilized. What Christians are called to do are to be beyond civilized, beyond humanity, beyond this world. But in the terms of this world, in the terms of this reality, vengeance and hatred and anger are part of this reality. Christians are called to be better than that, better than normal, to be different, to be the salt of the world. So if this is a message to Christians, then yes. But if this is a message to conservatives, then no. If this is a message to the general world or general audience, then no. I don't know, somewhere in the first 2 minutes, you really need to define who you're speaking to and what you're trying to say. Who's the
Having said
intended
all
audience?
this, we encounter a different and alarming problem on the political and religious right, namely the deliberate whitewashing of Charlie Kirk's legacy and his elevation to the status of American martyr and saint. He is being hailed as a crusader for free speech, a defender of Christian values, a champion of democracy, a man of courage and integrity, a lover of Jesus and a devoted Christian, and much more. Now, there are some partial truths here. From a Christian point of view, Kirk was absolutely correct on the issue of abortion, and he defended the sanctity of traditional heterosexual marriage. He also lived out his belief in free speech, audaciously engaging with people across the...
Give me a second. I'm going to get a drink real quick. Oh! So, I'll be blunt. I was expecting, based on ordinary ruined Catholics' recommendation, I was expecting more here. It's not that there's anything to disagree with. It's just, it's just not substantive. It's correct, but it needs to be expounded upon, directed, aimed better.
the political spectrum, and maintaining a respectful disposition in most cases.
Thank you guys for a respectful conversation, even though we see things very differently. And
I mean,
for
you've
us-
definitely been the most respectful one that I've seen.
Well, thank you. That's very,
But-
very kind. And I can tell you, it's not me. If it was me, I'd be yelling and screaming. It's the Holy Spirit. It really is.
But the main problem is how he used, or rather abused, free speech. Charlie was no saint, and on numerous occasions he rattled off racist talking points.
So first off, if you're going to say that, you don't know the saints. There are saints who are rapists. There are saints who are murderers, thieves, liars, racist, homophobes, slave owners. Then what? Recognized, canonized saints.
Fear-mongered about migrants, spread conspiracy theories about the election fraud, and disinformation about COVID.
Happening all the time in urban America. Prowling blacks go around for fun to go target white people. That's a fact.
He promoted the subjugation.
Okay, disprove what he just said. Disprove what he just said. Or explain to me how gangs work from the inner city, because I've hung out with really bad people. I was not a good person for most of my life. And I know how really bad people work when they hang out together. One time, me and my friends were hanging out with a girl, a model that we liked. And a guy drove by and gave her the finger. So all three of us, four of us? Three of us. Well, four if you include the girl. Got into our cars, chased the guy down, drove him off the side of the road, and intimidated him and told him, "Don't you ever do that again." All because he flicked us off and honked at us. I probably said a slur of some kind. Well, as a grown adult, I know not to do that, but as a angry young teenager in a car, and friends who would later have criminal records, I didn't know any better. So say how what Charlie said isn't true. All you need is one example of what he said being true to validate his claim.
Of women, smeared Martin Luther King Jr., questioned the Civil Rights Act, and seemed to place more importance on gun ownership than the loss of life, accepting it as a necessary cost for freedom.
But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year, so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights.
He once called for the imprisonment and execution of Joe Biden, and more broadly, even advocated the return of public capital punishment.
I mean, Joe Biden is a bumbling, dementia-filled Alzheimer's, corrupt tyrant who should...
So, him saying inflammatory things or having opinions that are more Protestant than Catholic doesn't make him a non-martyr for Christendom. It might make him all the martyr more of it. Your definition of Christendom or Christianity might be softer than the one found in the Bible.
honestly be put in prison and or given the death penalty for his crimes against America.
And this is my other problem with death penalty. It takes too long, too many appeals. It should be public, it should be quick, it should be televised. You could force the government to watch it. You could have like brought to you by Coca-Cola. And no, I'm not kidding. By the way, I would totally tune in to see someone get their head chopped off. And you know what? I want to watch that execution. That'll make my day better.
He was friendly to white nationalism and fascism. Even with the kindest possible interpretation, if Kirk was not a racist nor a sexist, and he did in fact mourn the loss of life due to gun violence.
Okay, again, this is wrong framing from a Christian perspective. Let's say he was a racist. So what? That doesn't mean that he can't do good things for people of other races. Let's say he was a sexist. That doesn't mean that he can't be kind to women or care about women. If you're a Christian, and I don't know that you are, but I'm going to assume that you are. If you're a Christian, then you know for a fact that people are sinners and that hypocrites are all of us. All of us are hypocrites. All of us fail. We fail to live up to our ideals, and we fail to understand what our ideals should be. Now, I'm not a fan of Charlie Kirk. I don't like Charlie Kirk. I don't like Donald Trump. But I'll defend Donald Trump and I'll defend Charlie Kirk. I defend their right to say what they said, to do what they did. It's their right as an American as a president, as a politician, as a spokesperson, as a news anchor. But if you're asking me, are they living up to a Christian ideal, then no. At least not a Catholic Christian ideal. But Charlie Kirk has never said anything that Trent Horn hasn't said. Yeah, maybe from a Protestant perspective versus a Catholic, and maybe in a semi-anti-Catholic perspective, just in the same way Trent Horn gives a semi-anti-Protestant perspective.
The fact is that words have power, and Charlie often used that power in ways that obscured the truth and led to oppression and polarization. While context might offer more insight into Kirk's problematic statements and give nuance to some of his polarizing points of view, he severely undermined his credibility by stating opinions in an unnecessarily provocative manner, rife with racist and sexist dog whistles that have helped to build Trump's American dumpster fire. He is just as guilty as radical left.
So I disagree with your assessment of Trump there as well. I like Trump. I voted for Trump this last time. I don't like him as a president. I think he's a terrible president. I think he's the second worst president of all time. The first worst president being Biden. After that, I don't know, there's like 2 or 3 other bad presidents in there. Is he a Washington? No. Is he a Lincoln? No. Is he a Kennedy? No. Is he an Eisenhower? No. Is he as bad as Nixon? No.
Leftist snowflakes of creating the troubled political atmosphere in which we currently live in 2025. It is profoundly upsetting that even Catholic figures, including Bishop Robert Barron,
Okay, serious Catholic.
Father Mike Schmitz, Cardinal Dolan, and influencers like Cameron Rieker or Brian Holdsworth.
So I'll say this. When it comes to Bishop Barron and Father Mike Schmidt, I agree with their take. When it comes to Brian Holdsworth, I think he's a jackass. When it comes to this guy, I don't know what this guy thinks or doesn't think. I don't watch him.
Have sung Charlie Kirk's praises, or at least have been excessively lenient on his abuse of free speech.
And the more I learned about him, I thought, this guy's a modern-day St. Paul. He was a missionary. He's an evangelist. He's a hero.
All because he
Okay. Let's play a little game here. We're all outsiders here watching this right now. If you're watching this right now, you're an outsider. You're not part of the mainstream. Not in any kind of way. Not on YouTube. Not in the media. Not in your personal life. Okay. So, fellow outcast, I play Vampire the Masquerade. I collect all those books, including when I'm broke and I need money for other stuff. I'll still take the time to buy one of those books. I'm friends with strippers and ex-prostitutes, with ex-porn stars, current OnlyFans models I'm friends with, OF friends. Probably couldn't say that term, and now I'm probably going to get shadow banned or something. But anyway, I'm friends with these people. These are people I've known, some of them over 20 years. My first girlfriend out of high school is an ex-porn star. I say porn star, but the truth is she only did one movie, so who knows. But at the time, it really was just that was the term that the people used. Now, I didn't find out about that part of her life or career until like maybe 12 months into dating her. But 12 weeks into dating her. We weren't together that long. We weren't together a year. But 12 weeks into dating her, that's when I found out all that stuff. But it didn't stop me from dating her. One of the women I was pursuing at that time, I found out years later she was a dancer at a club. So, am I not a Christian because I've sinned? because I continue to indulge in gothic horror RPGs. Because tonight before I went on this show, I went out to a bar and had a beer. Am I somehow not a Christian? Am I not a Catholic? I go to confession, I say the Mass, I say my prayers, I practice liturgy hours when I can. Not as ardently as I did when I was a religious, but still. I've spent money fixing up the studio that could have gone to charity. Am I not a Catholic? Is Brian Hallsworth, for all of his arrogance, not a Catholic in good standing? If you and him passed away tomorrow, would you not both be in the gates of heaven, regardless of your political or social point of views? Assuming you've confessed all your sins? I don't think you thought this one through. I think, and I don't know this because I haven't watched enough of your videos, I think your bias against Charlie Kirk and against Donald Trump might be coloring your commentary here. Again, I don't like them as people, but I still voted for one of them. I still chose the lesser of two evils.
Best Christianity and said some nice things about the Blessed Virgin Mary. Effectively, this reduces faith to a series of performative gestures and theological proclamations that get you out of jail for free. On a more personal note, I had a brief exchange with an acquaintance from my parish, and when questioning the narrative surrounding Charlie Kirk, this older gentleman...
So, the priest at my parish, and by the way, I haven't seen him preaching the last few times I went in there, took the time out to decry Charlie Kirk after the assassination. I thought that was in bad taste. I thought it was the wrong time to introduce politics into a Catholic homily. I don't think politics should ever enter a Catholic homily, to be very blunt about it. But it was progressive politics, and he's a liberal priest. That doesn't make him not a Catholic priest. Just like a conservative Republican priest would still be a Catholic priest.
asked me, "Do you still follow Jesus?" As if support for right-wing politics has become a litmus test for one's Christianity.
But in a way it has. Gender ideology is not an ideal of the right. Drug abuse, I don't know the right word, the coddling of those who abuse drugs is not something of the right. Trying to find a way to be pro-abortion while still defining yourself as pro-life, or at least pro-choice while still defining yourself as pro-life, is not an ideal of the right. From homosexuality to gender identity to religious assent to religious practices. It is not the right to or attacking things that tradition holds, that Catholics believe to be true. So yes, from a fundamentalist or radical traditionalist point of view, the left is the enemy. They are of Satan. Now, it is the job of people like myself who are anti-apologist and people like you who identify as a philosopher to make people think, hopefully critically, and to examine themselves and to ask themselves if their assumption about the far left doesn't also hold insights into the far right. And it does. They mirror each other. But to pretend that the left's ideals on abortion are equal to the misogyny, equal in sin to the misogyny on the right, is false, because there are many, many conservatives who would follow a woman to war, to death, to heaven. So, yes, while you could find a misogynistic person on the right, you can also find someone on the left. I feel this was not thought out or thought through. I've been working on a paper now for a week, maybe two, examining the Archbishop of Canterbury and how that reflects on the Catholic Church. I have a little insight based on a linguistic twist when it comes to Peter. I think hold off on what I was going to say. Let's put it more.
Though most of us share the human intuition of not speaking ill of the dead, we cannot allow decorum to lead us to rewrite history, alter the truth, and excuse grievous offenses.
Well, you also can't let your previous offenses decide the dictates of the soul. You are not to judge. It includes Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk may be in heaven right now, and if he's in heaven, guess what? He's a saint. That's all that a saint is. If he died for a Christian cause, guess what? He's a martyr. That's all that a martyr is. It's a witness to Jesus. Word doesn't mean more than that. Whatever implications you're drawing in from the modern world don't have anything to do with the definition. So yes, Charlie Kirk could be a saint and a martyr for Christ. Or he could not be. But you're not the one who gets to judge that. You're not the Pope. You're not an ecumenical council. You're not a bishop.
I mean, the man now has a bloody Memorial Day, roads named after him, and there has even been a motion to make coins that bear his image. We are witnessing the expedited canonization of an American influencer. It is disturbing to consider what this might say about hagiography more broadly. If reality can be so rapidly and efficiently whitewashed in a...
If you think the saints and the church fathers were good people all the time, you're wrong. I think his name's Paul the Black. Look up Paul the Black, or Black Paul. Like, seriously, I don't think you understand who the ancient church fathers and who the ancient saints were.
A time where fact-checking is theoretically easier than ever, how can we be sure of all of our grand narratives and myths? This is the sort of stuff that can make us question the nature of faith-based beliefs and stories. To end on a less negative note, it seems that in private, Kirk was not at all the abrasive and insufferable character he played in public. Leftist commentator Kyle Kulinski, who debated Kirk at Politicon 2019, reported that Charlie had treated him politely backstage and even invited him on a speaking and debating tour.
I've debated Charlie Kirk in the past. I can say for sure that behind the scenes, he's a very different guy. I'd say behind the scenes, he seems like a very nice guy. He even at one point offered to do some sort of a political tour with me, like do, I guess, some debate tour where it's me and him debating, something like that.
Vice President J.D. Vance posted a long testimonial on Twitter of Kirk's kindness among friends and allies. At best, Charlie Kirk was a complicated figure, a man who rode the wave of divisive politics and right.
I'm going to call you Midnight because I don't know what else to call you. Midnight, I would like to invite you onto my show for a conversation, possibly a dialogue, possibly a debate. Doesn't really matter. I would love to talk to you because this assessment of Charlie Kirk is not correct. I've done 3 examinations of Charlie Kirk since his death. I was not a fan of his when he was alive, and I did not enjoy his rhetoric, and I did not enjoy the clips that I saw from him. But after his death, I took the time to listen to the context of these clips, and what he was saying was not bad at all. The clips sounded bad, but the actual point that he was getting to was not inflammatory at all, even if he used inflammatory wording or means to get there.
Wing demagoguery. He was a useful and well-paid tool of the establishment. All that aside, he was just a human being, capable of growth and love, and his life was cruelly cut down before he actualized his full potential. Let's end with this clip of him gushing with joyfulness at the thought of being a father, which in my view encapsulates the best of Charlie Kirk the man. This is the human being we should remember and mourn. This is the human being that was cruelly taken from us.
I hate sappy shit like this. Okay. No, I'm sorry, dude. I don't feel this at all. We might read it. We might watch a few of these. Not right now, but let's see.
Of the scandal involving Alex Jurado, better known by his username Voice of Reason. Recognized as something of an apologetics prodigy, Jurado has quickly risen to internet prominence, discussing theology and debating representatives of other denominations, such as the Christian Orthodox Danny Selin and Protestant James White. Now he faces allegations that he exchanged inappropriate messages with an underage girl.
To be clear, some of these have been cleared up, and some of them have been debunked. Some of the accusations. Not all, which is so problematic.
Accusations that he firmly denies. Jurado's online profiles on various Catholic sites have been removed, and his movements within the apologetics industrial complex are presently restricted, until the air is clear at least. I won't read.
Okay, so we're going to stop there. We might do this one tomorrow. Let's get back over here. All right, Midnight Philosophy. Your channel was recommended to me by someone whose taste I trust, but the video on Charlie Kirk was not flattering toward you. It doesn't mean you're a bad philosopher, and it doesn't mean that your videos are bad, but I did not agree with your assessment of Charlie Kirk. I'd love to talk to you about that in person, one-on-one here on this channel, so you are invited. Outside of that, everybody else, let's remember what I always say. God forgives you. So it's your job to forgive everybody. Forgive your enemy. Forgive the neighbor. Forgive your family and forgive yourself. And remember that God loves you. So love your enemy, love your neighbor, love your family, and love yourself, and love God above all. Thank you and have a good night.
Closely. I know lately you're a bit lonely. Did you know on your phone there's a whole world full of girls you could be looking at, homie? It's true, between me and you, it's only $5 and watch what they do. Let's get high, lose track of time. Come on, man, you know I'm a damn good time. Yo, if they're gonna post it, no clothing. Oh my God, so exposed and everything. You might as well see everything. Every inch, never leave or grow in need. Wait, maybe you should DM, be friends, pretend a boyfriend. The deep end, she needs men, she needs you and your twos. Get out of my head, get out of my mind. I need to focus, I'm wasting my time. You make me feel hopeless, I'm wasting my prime. Fuck it, I'm going to war with my mind. I'm in control, my body and soul. Never again will you ever take hold. I've got a purpose outside of this hole, and I'll turn this feeling into something more. I could change where you rearrange my brain. Thoughts and energy push through pain. Loneliness